Hello, welcome back to the run across Europe. We're still in France on this canalway with butterflies flying by. See them? Loads of them. Yeah, seems like a nice spot to record. Just left the town of Bassee, I think is how you pronounce it. Yeah, so far so good. Well, to be honest, kind of struggling at the minute, so kind of what I said yesterday. I like to start recording, it makes me forget about the run and helps move things along. This should be a bit more of an interesting canal than what we had yesterday. It's just a bit more twists and turns, and we will be turning off not soon, before the end of the video, I'd say. Yeah, so I left just yesterday, down to the Catalan for the new shoes, so I got them sorted. I have them on at the minute. Yeah, they were okay about exchanging, but the woman did ring the other place because she was a bit skeptical about exchanging it from a different store. So luckily I did check before I went there. Then yeah, I was just late by the time I'd done all that. And then because I hadn't even checked the campsite till I got that sorted, and because of the late start I didn't get that sorted till like 5 PM. So I checked and there was a campsite about 10 kilometers away, and it was the only one it was the only one close really. So wait a second. So I got there, it was late, I think it was at least 7. It was definitely at least 7, I think it was closer to 8. And there was no one there at reception, and the place was tiny. Just camper vans and motorhomes. I couldn't see any tents, and like maybe there was a dozen motorhomes. It was just this one tiny square. So even I just had a quick look and I couldn't even see a spot. So I was like, ah, balls. And then trying to ring the number, no answer. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to go to a different one, you know. So I googled it, and there was another one 9 kilometers away, which I was like, it's going to be nearly 9 PM by the time I get there. Like, they're not going to let me in either. That's just too late to show up, you know. So yeah, I was really stressing at that point. But then this guy comes around the corner, and so I started trying to ask him about reception. I got the Google Translate out and just told him, like, I've no reservation, do you know what the story is, can I stay? And he couldn't have been more helpful. He just starts walking around the little square with me to find a spot. Can't really see one. Sees another 2 guys in their motorhome, starts chatting to them. They start walking around with us. Then they go over to this guy, this old couple who had a little motorhome in their car, and they asked him to move his car to make space for me. Your man did it, no problem. Like, they just were so over the top friendly, you know. Like, I know I've been saying just how the service in France is shocking, but they are the most helpful people I think I've ever met when they're in a pickle. It's just once you give them money to do something, like once they're paid to provide a service, then they become the most useless people in the world. But if it's for free, they're the most helpful people. Like, so then I'm setting up my tent, and the 2 guys in the motorhome it was very windy, like, and I was doing it, but it wasn't really a problem. But the two lads come over to me. No one has a word of English, and they started trying to talk to me. I'm like, lads, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they just started holding down the tent. Like, basically they were saying, do you want to help with your tent, you know? And I just started laughing, like laughing a lot actually, because I was already just thinking about how helpful they are, you know? And then they come over to just help me do my tent. So I just let them help me for 2 seconds, get a couple of pins in, and I'm like, lads, it's grand, I have it, you know? So they went on their way. Yeah, and like I said, it was pretty late at this stage, so I just had half a baguette left, so I just made a sandwich. But there was a fishing pond beside this campsite, and I seen that they were selling like beers and stuff. So I went in and just got 4 beers and gave 3 to the lads and 1 for myself, you know, just to say thanks. But the 2 lads who were in their motorhome, they were inside it when I came with the beers. So I just knocked, and then one of the guys came out, and I just said, here, you know, for you 3, you know. And their man's, oh, thank you, merci. And then he pulls up a chair. But I was like, oh, thanks, but you don't speak English, I don't speak French, this is not going to be enjoyable. Just take the beer and I'll take mine and relax, you know. But he was like, I couldn't really say all that. I was like, no, it's okay, you are tranquil here, and you tranquil. And he just kind of looking at me. I was like, all right, I'll sit down for one. So then we had a beer while miming at each other, not really understanding what we're saying. It was actually okay. Got the phone out once or twice, but not much. But I do enjoy learning new languages. I mean, you're just kind of forced like that to sit across from someone and they're speaking a different language. Like, I just picked up a few more words, just like "see" is here, and comprehend. I can't pronounce it, but it's comprehend basically is to understand. Just little things like that. So that was good. I think he works in a travelling zoo, from what I gathered from our broken conversation. So I'll just say a bit of an interesting character. But then he said, before we started having the beers, he was saying that it's €21 for the night. And I was like, what? For a municipal campsite? In France, they have, every municipality has to have a campsite. I think it's over a certain size or something. And normally they're fairly cheap, like €10 at most, you know. So I was like, 21. But again, it was so late, I didn't have a choice. I'm like, well, yeah, whatever. And yeah, then he writes on the phone saying the guy will be around in the evening, you know. It's already fairly late, but that's not uncommon for campsites like that, for the guy who works on it to just come for a late night sweep to collect any money for late arrivals, you know. But no one came, so I went to bed. But the thing about this place as well was, because there was like a public pond beside it for fishing, you had a key for the showers and a key for the toilets, key for everything, which I didn't have because I hadn't checked in. So one of the 3 guys gave me a key, or just opened the door for me to go have a shower, you know. And I did, and then I filled up my water bottle once. But then after that, like, I couldn't go to the toilet, I couldn't get more water to cook if I wanted. So I woke up in the morning and I went over to where reception was at about 9 AM. He still wasn't there. So I was just like, alright, whatever, I'm just gonna leave, because You know, and I said before when I was in that place in England where I could have left without paying, that I don't like it. But for this, I was like €21 and I'm barely even getting to use the bathroom, you know. So yeah, I just packed up my stuff and left, and it was alright. No one came running after me. Again, it's a municipal campsite, so it's not like I'm robbing from your man. It goes to sea. But still, you know, I'd rather pay, but I don't think anyone's going to be too devastated. And then when I'm going, because I was kind of like, once I decided, I was like, alright, well, if I go, I'm going now before someone shows up. And then when I go to leave, I have a flat tire. It must have been a slow puncture again. I think this trolley is just too heavy, you know. So, like I've said many times before, I need to do a clear out of all the stuff. Yeah, so then I didn't really have water this morning. I hadn't been to the bathroom and I hadn't eaten. So I just made it to the nearest town as quick as possible, but I was really drained. That was a real struggle. But I got there, got my guess, so I stopped in a little park and then used to have a cup of coffee and had some breakfast. So moving on now. Then I was in that town and I went to come onto this cycleway, but I kept getting to dead ends. Like, I went to send me over a bridge, and then I got to the bridge and it was closed. And there was the cycleway beside it, that was also closed. And then I realised I needed to take a shit, so I had to go back a kilometre to a cafe. So yeah, just, I don't know, slow moving. It's kind of, the last few days going to the Catalan and just doing organising stuff and having to peel off the supermarkets. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I've kind of had to do before, but it's just an extra level of it the last few days. And just being on foot, you know, every couple of kilometres is like, if you have to go 3 kilometres, it's like, you know, if you're on 6 kilometres, you're nearly 20 minutes, like. And then if you have to go back, it's 40, and then including the 20 minutes in the shop, the hour round trips, like. So it's just kind of draining me at the moment. So the plan for today is, I've done about 5 kilometres when I started recording, and it's another 30 to campsite. There's actually there's not as many in this area as you normally find in France, so this is kind of my only option, but I want to get there. I want to get there early, not like last time, for a few reasons. You know, I didn't get to wash clothes yesterday, so I have to do that. And there's meant to be a storm tonight, so I want to get settled before that, and just to get there before reception closes and get sorted, no stressing, you know. So it's 10 to 1 now, but I still have nearly 30 to go, so hopefully I should get there by 4 PM, because I have all my food and stuff now. My phone is about to die, but the sun's out, so I have show you there, I have my solar charger just on the front of the buggy, so that's just keeping it maintained. That was another reason to start talking to you. Just give me half an hour to charge the phone, then maybe I can get the earphones in, because at the minute it was only on 5% when I started this recording, so hopefully it'll go up a few notches and I can start to listen to music or podcast or something, because at the minute I have to save the battery. Ooh, right, so we go left. I could probably go straight, but it seems the smarter one, take a left. That bridge up there is where I need to turn off. I can't go this way. So we're gonna have to go off-road. Folks, hold on to your hats. I thought a lot of times they have one that'll just run parallel to it. Oh, just get some water. Yeah, a lot of times they'll have another lane. They're so good at cycle lanes that they'll sometimes have two. If there's one like this that's rough, they'll build one that's smooth like this right beside it. That's what I thought we had here. This says end the cycleway. I think, like I've said before, in Google Maps, I alternate between putting in whether I'm walking or whether I'm cycling. And I think for this one I'd put in walking. So that's probably why it's sending us this way. Let's see, we went on a lot worse in England. Yeah, I've had at least 6 flats now. I actually haven't counted, but I'd say it's about 5 or 6. But they're all on the back wheels. I haven't had one in the front yet. I think that just alludes to the fact that it's too heavy. There's a lot more weight on the back wheels than the front one. Oh God. Jeez. Okay, we're alright. Steering wheel handlebars starting to squeak a little again. I had to listen to the last episode and it's kind of hard to hear when you're just watching it on the GoPro, but I couldn't hear it. You could hear it there just because it's so bumpy here, but I hope it's not too bad because I'm trying to keep it contained. Horse shit. I was wondering where the horses were. There they are. These stones are made for punctures. The shoes seem pretty good, but they don't nearly have as much as a heron. And there's also a lot of horse shit. Oh, excuse me. What was I saying? Yeah, the shoes. They seem good, but they don't have nearly as much cushion as the other ones. Because I just kind of eyeballed it, to be honest, when I went into it. The Catalan and looked at them. These were the most expensive Asics they had, and they looked like they had a fair bit of cushion. And they're definitely not bad, but just them Hokas have a lot. Like I looked for I bought them before, but they're really made with cushion as the priority. Where these are more of an all-round shoe, so they have a bit of speed in them. But so far so good. I'm happy with them. I still have both of the other pairs of shoes. I just couldn't bring myself to throw them out. The two of them are wrecked. The bottoms of the soles all worn out and stuff, but I need an alternate pair and I just couldn't decide which one to get rid of. So for now I have both. I was thinking about yesterday's episode as well, just with I genuinely just started talking and whatever comes out comes out. I don't plan what I was going to say, but I was just thinking of the story, the first one that I brought up. It kind of sounds like a humble brag, you know what I mean, like, oh, I like this girl but I ended up with this girl, like, you know. And maybe that's the reason it came up, because it's one I don't mind sharing for that reason. But I don't know, I told a different one about cycling to Galway, and then shortly before I realised I was autistic and having a shutdown in front of a girl and stuff. And I have a lot more stories like that, stuff that's so embarrassing that I don't know, like, everyone in their life will do embarrassing things, but I've done some stuff that will make my ancestors skin crawl, like, just generationally will. It's so, you know what I mean, that's just a joke, but like, so embarrassing that it like get into my DNA. But yeah, you know, I'm not going to give examples right now, but just I wanted to say that, because I also don't want to turn it too much into a counselling session, you know, because I've never done professional counselling. When I got my last long-term or full-time employment, that was something, you know, it was after I knew I was autistic and that, but I was just like, I want to go to do some counselling, get some help. But I went to the introductory one and just talking for an hour, trying to explain to your one all the stuff and trying to explain to you about autism, aphantasia, alexithymia. And then like, she's like, alright, that's the end of the session, you know, before she even really had the chance to say anything. Not her fault, I just talked forever, you know. But then at the end, I'm just checking the time, 23, loads of time. Then at the end, you give her €80. And it's just like, I can't do that once a week. Like, after tax I was probably making €100 a day, you know, and then I'm gonna give her nearly all of that. This is crazy, like, working 8 hours to talk to a woman for an hour. That's just not feasible. Like, that's not, it's like, however much you can help me, having that €80 every week would probably help me more, you know, for my mental health. Now let me just check directions. Okay, we go across here, swing a left, and then back down by the canal. I feel like you can hear the less cushioning on these shoes. I probably shouldn't point it out to you, because it's probably the hardest thing about watching these videos is the click clack in my shoes, but they seem louder to me. literally a couple laid on the ground there. Ankle nearly went under. That'd be kind of funny if just something small like that gave you a serious injury. You know, just informing people. I had to call it quits because of a coffee cup. All the windows in France have shutters on them. And I remember the last time I was here, a French guy was telling me it's because they have a window tax. Let me just get a drink again. It's very warm again today. It's up to near 30. How we doing? 26. Yeah, so I googled that there last night to see if it's true, and what I said was there's some truth to it. So back during the French Revolution, and they were coming for the rich, the government imposed a window tax. So the more windows you had in your house, the more you had to pay in tax. The English had something similar for a couple of hundred years. I think like in both cases it stopped in the 1800s because people just built houses with less windows, you know. Doing it by square foot makes more sense. But so what ChatGPT was telling me, it's more to do with just storms and security now, but it is part of the aesthetics do kind of come from. I had a bit of a leftover of that window tax where having covered up windows became like the thing, and richer people would have these bricked up windows. Apparently I haven't seen any old houses, well, ones that I recognise to be old, but apparently there's the odd house from a couple of centuries ago and you'll just see like it oddly has very little windows, you know. Them canals are though. I haven't looked at my elevation gain in the last few days, but in England and Ireland I was averaging like 300-400 meters a day. Well, I must be doing like only about 50 now that I'm in France. It's lovely and smooth, flat. Up that bridge, so I might have to go down that way to the right. He says I have to go past the bridge and then turn back. But we're coming up on 30 minutes, so I'm going to end it under the bridge. These flowers on the right here, they're all over France, they're lovely. Okay, thanks for watching. Another day down, one day closer to Istanbul. See you tomorrow.